Hi, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Laurel. I'm Laurel, and in this video we're going to talk about antiderivatives. Up until now, we've been looking at what's called differential calculus. We've been looking at how to find the derivative of a variety of functions. We were working with algebraic functions and we learned a variety of rules. We were working with transcendental functions, which are non-algebraic functions, again applying those rules and learning new rules. And we also looked at a variety of applications of where we can use the derivative. When you're asked to find the derivative, remember that you're being asked to find the instantaneous rate of change of a function. So if we had the function y equals x squared, the derivative will be, in this case, 2x, and that's the general formula for finding the instantaneous rate of change of this function. To know it at a specific value, for example, at x equals 3, we would put a 3 in, and we would say the rate of change, or the instantaneous rate of change at that point, is 6. It's also called the slope of the curve, or the slope of the tangent line. So understand what a derivative is, understand what differential calculus is. We're now going to take a look at integral calculus. And the best way I can explain it is it's the reverse of finding the derivative. So if we know how to find the derivative, the reverse of that is, given the derivative, find the function. And there are going to be patterns that we can use to find these antiderivatives. So I'm going to call them antiderivatives in this video and the next one, and then we're going to get into the more formal definition where they're called integrals. So let's take a look at what we did to find the derivative of certain functions so that we know how to go backwards and find the antiderivative. If we take a look at a function y equals x to the fifth and we're asked to find the derivative, remember what we're doing is we're multiplying by that exponent, and then the exponent gets decreased by 1. So if we were to go backwards, if we knew the derivative and we wanted to find the function whose derivative is this, we would add a 1 to our exponent, so it would be x to the fifth, and we would have to divide this coefficient by this new exponent. So 5 divided by 5 gives us 1. Same idea with this question. Y equals 2x to the fourth. The derivative of that, we multiply 2 times 4 to get 8, and then we decrease our exponent by 1. Therefore, if we're going backwards, x will be to the power of 4, and we divide 8 by that 4 to get a coefficient. So hopefully you can see what I'm talking about there. Instead of using the y and the dy dx notation, what we're going to look at now is using capital F of x and small f of x. And the relationship between those two is that the derivative of capital F of x will equal small f of x. So if we're given small f of x, we're going to take the antiderivative to find capital F of x. So those two examples that I did initially, we're going to take a look at them, but we're going to look at it in this form. If I want to find the antiderivative of this, which is the capital F of x, I add a 1 to my power of x, so that'll be x to the 4 plus 1 will be x to the 5. And I take this coefficient and I divide by 5 to get a 1. So does the derivative of capital F of x equal small f of x? Does the derivative of this equal this? Yes. Similarly with this example, I'm going backwards from taking the derivative. I'm doing the antiderivative. So I'm finding capital F of x. My power of x increases by 1. And this coefficient gets divided by this new exponent. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. Very easy to check. Does the derivative of this function equal this function? You can do it, and yes, it does. So that's basically what we're doing when we're finding the antiderivative, is going backwards from finding the derivative. Let's take a look at some more examples. All right, again, we're given a function and we're asked to find the antiderivative of the function, so we're going to find capital F of x. And in order to do so, we start with our power of x, we add a 1 to it, so it'll be x to the fourth, and then we're going to take our coefficient and divide by this new exponent, so it will be 7 divided by 4. Let's do a quick check. Does the derivative of this equal this? And you can see that it does. Next example, if we want to find the antiderivative of this, we're finding capital F of x. We start with our power of x. So it will be x to the negative 1/2 plus 1 will be positive 1/2. And then I take 1/2, divide by my new exponent, and that's going to be a 1. Again, very easy to check. Does the derivative of this equal this? Yes, it does. Next example, find the antiderivative. We're going to start with our power of x. So it will be x to the negative 4 plus 1, which will be negative 3. And then negative 3 divided by negative 3 is a 1. Does the derivative of x to the negative 3 equal negative 3x to the negative 4? Yes. Let's do more examples of finding antiderivatives so that you can get comfortable with the process. So we want to find capital F of x. So with each term, I just find the antiderivative. So I start with my power of x. So that will be x, and I add a 1 to my exponent, so that will be x cubed. And then I divide my coefficient by my new exponent, and that will be 3 divided by 3, which is 1. Next term, I do the same thing. So I start with my power of x. It's x to the 1. I add a 1. And then I take this coefficient, and I divide by my new power. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. The last term, I'm looking for the function whose derivative is 5. It would be 5 times x. So that would be the antiderivative of this function, and we can do a quick check. The derivative of x cubed is 3x squared, minus the derivative of 2x squared is 4x, plus the derivative of 5x is 5. In our next example, we can't do the antiderivative when it's in that form, so we're going to just rearrange this a little bit and write this as 3 times x to the negative 2 plus x to the negative 1/2. We don't want quotients, we don't want square roots. We want to write our terms with powers of x. So now that's still the same function. Now I'm going to find the antiderivative. So I start with the power of x. So negative 2 plus 1 will be negative 1. I divide 3 by negative 1 and I get negative 3. Does the derivative of this equal this? Negative 3 times 1 is 3 times x to the negative 1 minus 1, negative 2. It works. Same thing here. I start with the power of x. I add a 1 to it. So negative 1/2 plus 1 is 1/2. I take 1 and I divide by my new exponent. So 1 divided by 1/2 is equal to 2. So again, check, does the derivative of 2x to the 1/2 equal x to the negative 1/2? Yes, it does. We're now going to take a look at functions that are not polynomial or multinomial. And what we have here is a power. Now, before we do this question, I just want to remind you that if we had a function x minus 2 to the power of 4, the derivative of that would be, we take our power of 4 and multiply by it. X minus 2 gets raised to the power of 3, 1 less. And then we have to use our chain rule or our power rule that says we multiply by the derivative of what's inside. The derivative of what's inside in this case is a 1. So if we're presented with this function and we want to find the antiderivative, it's this. So our pattern will be the opposite of the power rule. So what we're going to do is start with our function, our u, the function that's inside the power, and we raise that to the power of 3 plus 1. We add 1 to the exponent. We divide 4 by this new exponent to get a 1. And we do know that the derivative of this is this. This one was easier because the derivative of x minus 2 was just a 1. That's not always going to be the case. For example, if we take a look at this example, x squared minus 1 has a derivative of 2x. So that 2x factor has to be there if we're to find the antiderivative. If it's not there, we can't do it. We would have to, in that case, if this was missing, the only option is we would have to expand it to find the antiderivative. But because we have that 2x there, we can use the reverse of our power rule. So our antiderivative would be x squared minus 1 to the power of 4 plus 1, which is 5. We take 5 and divide by 5. And we basically ignore this. It has to be here, but we kind of ignore it. We know that it will be there when we take the derivative of this power function, but when we do the reverse of that, it doesn't appear. So again, let's take a look. Is the derivative of this function this function? Well, using our power rule, it will be 5 times x squared minus 1 to the power of 4. Then we go inside and we multiply by the derivative of x squared minus 1, which is 2x. So yes, the derivative of this is this, so you have to understand that this is the antiderivative of this function. This must be there. But we ignore it when we find the antiderivative. I want to spend more time on this concept in the next video because this does get very tricky, and I want to show you how you can manipulate to get what it is that you need. But I want to talk about one other concept first in this video. I just want to take a look at these 3 examples and their derivatives. If I had y equals x squared, the derivative is 2x. If I had y equals x squared minus 3, the derivative is 2x. And if I had y equals x squared plus 10, the derivative is 2x. Notice the derivative for all 3 functions is the same. So if you had a function of 2x and you were asked to find the antiderivative, we go through the process. It's going to be x to the power of 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. But you have to understand that there could have been a constant added to the function, and your derivative would still be the same. So you might want to make a note of that. That constant could be a 0, could be a -3, could be a +10, it could be anything. We don't have enough information with a question given like that to know if there is a constant or not, but just be aware of the fact that there could be. So practice these with your multinomial and polynomial functions, and then once you're ready to look closer at the power functions, take a look at the next video. Take care and see you then.